Well, ladies and gentlemen, if I could have your attentions, please. I'm Colonel Bob Shelton from RAF Mildenhall. I'm the 100th Operations Group there, commander there. And today it's quite an honor to join you and to recognize a very special partnership that the United States and the United Kingdom have together. This is quite a tribute and an honor to be able to join you as we recognize this memorial today and to spend a little bit of time in remembrance of the airmen that went before us and preserved the freedoms that we stand together to protect for the future. So, sir, thank you very much, and I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you all so much for coming. My name is Kenneth Bannerman. I'm the Director General, the founder and head of the Airfields of Britain Conservation Trust, or ABCT, which is essentially the world's first national airfield charity. And we're very delighted and honoured to be here at the Norfolk and Suffolk Museum in cooperation with the museum to help unveil this memorial to Bungay Airfield, or as it was also locally come semi-officially known as Flixton. Just to give you a quick rundown of the history and why this is just so important. The airfield dates back to 1942. There was quite a long construction process, but while the airfield was still being constructed, there were two American bombardment or bomb squadrons that were based here at the turn of 1942-43. They flew consolidated B-24 heavy bombers and North American B-25s, or as we called it in the UK, Mitchells, and of course not forgetting the Liberators for the B-24s. That's the way we called it in Britain. So they soon departed, and then the main change though was in November 1943 when the 446 bomb group came over from the US by aircraft and by ship via Scotland, quite close to where our charity is primarily based. So from November 43 until the end of World War II, the bomb group flying B-24 heavy bombers carried out over 270 operations, mainly strategic bombing raids over enemy territory. Although they were also involved in supply missions, for example, when the American forces were trying to capture Nijmegen around the time of Operation Market Garden. The very eventful time here, very successful. The group had a very, very good record. Thankfully, not that many aircraft in comparison to other bomb groups were shot down. Inevitably, there were one or two accidents. There was also one occasion in April 1944 where the airfield had by any standards, a quite terrifying intruder attack by enemy Luftwaffe aircraft that followed the B-24s home to here in Suffolk and various other airfields such as Seething. Come the end of World War II, the Americans, as happened with all these groups, left fairly quickly in June, July of 1945. And then after that, Bungay still played a very important role in a general aviation sense after World War II for many years, because after a short period of service being used as a fleet air arm base, it was then used by the Royal Air Force by especially number 53 maintenance unit for bomb storage. This was very important after World War II. And this bomb storage facility carried on until 1955, although the airfield itself did not close in a military capacity until 1956, and then the land was subsequently sold to civilian farmers in the early 1960s. Bungay itself remained very tangible till really about 1984. I mean, I can just remember in the early 1980s, I've been at the museum in various capacities in this area many times over the years since the early 1980s. And I can just remember how, for example, the runway layout at the airfield was a lot more intact than sadly it is now. The airfield is about 1 1/3 miles down the road from me on the other side of Flixton village. There's a commemorative memorial to the 446 near the airfield. With permission, you can see some buildings nearby, although you need to gain permission from the local landowners. But sadly, other than that, a lot of the airfield has now disappeared. But that doesn't mean to say we never forget. And it goes without saying we are incredibly grateful to everyone in the United States, everyone both then and now, for all the tremendous assistance that you gave the United Kingdom both during World War II and afterwards, right up to this present day, with obviously Mildenhall thinking about that airfield. But we mustn't also forget as well, finally, that never mind the military aspect of all of this, that just please always spare a thought for our airfields, active and disused, not least when it comes to our everyday social lives. Enough to say that we simply cannot afford to lose our airfields in a whole myriad of ways which affect our everyday lives very much for the betterment of all. So I can only say to you, just please do all you can within reason to help our airfields and all the people who've served at them, and not forgetting, of course, all the people of the 446 Bomb Group and all the other units, the Bungay Buckaroos, as they were famously nicknamed. Just always remember them. And finally, I just should say, in a slight digression, very important in its own way, the museum has just lost the late great Wing Commander Tom Neal, Battle of Britain legend, who was heavily associated with the museum. There's a book of remembrance just there. I've signed it, so you might want to sign that as well, just for his family, just to let them know he's remembered. You might want to do that. And thanks again, of course, to the Norfolk and Suffolk Aviation Museum for all their help in allowing us to unveil this memorial. And therefore we are really honoured to unveil what is now ABCT's 82nd memorial. We've got hundreds more lined up in years to come. We're going as fast as we can with this to honour yet another of Britain's top physical assets, in this case Bungay Airfield. Thank you all very much. Just there, yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to thank the museum for giving us this opportunity to unveil this bench and plaque to James Kirk Varner, who was an engineer gunner who flew with the Buckaroos in the Second World War from here. The plaque is just not for Kirk, but it's for everybody that flew from this airbase. And Kirk's wife, Becky, still lives in the States today. She's not in the best of health, but I know she'll be delighted to see this, and we will send her a video and photographs of the unveiling. So thanks very much, everybody, and this is for James Kirk Varner and all that flew from Bungay Airfield. Thank you.